Dirk, I've been using the interval while they've been getting ready to look around your house. And it is a beautiful house, luxurious house, exquisitely furnished. I see the works of Tacitus over there in Latin. Do you read Latin?
I bought them to fill in the bookcase.
I see, yes. Would you say that, this is what worries me, this is terribly different, this house and its well-ordered luxury, from the public image of the haunted, hunted, passionate young characters you so often play in your films. Is the public image very different from the private Dirk Bogarde?
Your version of the public image is very different, I think. Yes. I didn't know I was haunted and hunted, or whatever you call it.
You were at the beginning of your career.
Oh, yes, the very beginning.
Yeah.
I never really did let that one down, I don't think, for a long time. And you know, the British press love to tag you with things. They invent tags. They invented hunted for me. And they invented the angry young man. And I think they even invented Bridget Bardo, frankly, you know. But you want to get on to asking me questions about the films. Well, this luxurious house, as you said, I suppose it is luxurious in a way. You haven't stayed the night here, and you haven't eaten here, but it's pretty good, generally, isn't it?
Yes,
this is the relics, or the results of...
35 films, I believe.
I suppose it's about that. Anyway, 14 years, solid work.
Yes.
At least I've got something to show for it, because the pictures haven't been all that too hot, you know. Some of them.
No, not the ones on the walls, the ones you made.
The ones I made. The ones on the walls are the best collection of bogus paintings in England, but still, that doesn't matter either. But out of those 35, I suppose I've really enjoyed making about, this sounds awfully stupid, but I've enjoyed making 6 out of all of them.
Yeah, this is a good point. Let's take what you think are the 6 landmarks in your film career up to date, or 5.
Landmarks as opposed to pictures I've thoroughly enjoyed.
Yes.
I would have said as landmarks, then probably one of the early pictures I made, which was called Hunted, in which I played a little boy called John Whiteley, which was dismissed in this country as a sort of another, you know, on-the-run picture, because I'd made too many on the run.
This was really your first starring part.
It was the first time I'd had my name about the title to carry a picture on its own. I'd say Hunted, certainly. Then I'd say, without any doubt, Doctor in the House. This was a complete landmark. It broke a long run of neurotic, pathological killers and boys in Macintoshes. After that, I'd say, without doubt, The Doctor's Dilemma, which was the Shaw play, because that at last gave me a chance to act on the screen. I suppose the next landmark would be the first time I went to Hollywood and did the film Song Without End, which was the story of Franz Liszt. That was a landmark because I worked for the first time ever with a top-key, brilliant American director, George Cukor, who taught me more in 6 months than I'd learnt in 14 years before, or 12 years before.
Well, we're just reeling these off now.
Well,
what's the next one?
Well, I suppose this present film, which is shortly going to come out in London, which is called Victim.
We'll talk about that in a moment. Let's go back to Hunted. I remember you vividly in the years 1947 to 50 playing a young thug in a
I started running about 47. I don't think I stopped till about 53, which is when Hunted came out.
Yes.
And Hunted, I think, was one of the best of the bunch. I did an awful lot of rubbish at that time. I seemed to wear a Macintosh all the way through and be chased over bomb sites. They were sort of fashionable.
That was with that little boy.
John Whiteley.
Get back! You can't come now! Get back! I said get back! I don't want you! Get back!
right now. I won't leave you again, I promise you. Gosh, you gave me a fright. You can't keep yourself out of trouble for a minute, can you?
Left my woodlots behind.
That's a terrible thing to do. We'll have to get you another one somewhere else, shan't we?
How did you start this trend as a young thug in a trench coat?
Well, you must remember at that time, I'm talking about 47 when I started, it was very fashionable to have bomb sites because there were plenty of them. Spivs were tremendously important, long before they thought of teddy boys. And it was kind of fashionable. Films of violence were an immediate reaction from the war, you know.
You were an actor in search of a bomb site.
So we were I was an actor in search of a bomb site, or as one critic said, an actor in search of God. I don't know what that quite meant, but it stuck for an awful long time. And they gave me...
Are you a religious person?
No. Well, I'm no more religious than the ordinary average man.
Yes.
But in this case, they gave me a Macintosh in one picture, and it seemed that I wore the same prop for about 4 or 5.
But you never were a biceps boy, were you?
No, I wasn't. No. There was a wonderful time when the rank organization decided that I should be. That my head was too small, my legs were too long, and I was too skinny. So they went to great expense and got these, you know, weight bars, which I couldn't move. We got the things sent down, they came off a truck, and they lay where they were for about 6 years. And I used to put 2 pullovers on and fill them that way.
Yes, Hunted was your first starring part, but it was the Doctor series that brought you to the really big public, wasn't it?
National, and if you like to put it that way, international, because the Doctor's played in every country in the world, which is unusual for a British film anyway. And the Doctor, at least Doctor in the House, was the, well, it was the crossroads picture, because up until then I was sort of really marking time a bit, you know, and if you mark time on one spot, you know what happens, you go into a hole, and you can't get out. Betty Box and Rafe Thomas had this brilliant idea, I thought anyway, to put me in it. There was a great deal of opposition, because as you said, I'd been playing these cockneys and spivs.
And this was a comic part, and of course you're not a comedian.
It was a comic film. It was a funny film. I'm not a comedian, no. The point about the Doctor on all the Doctor films was that Simon Sparrow was never funny.
No, I remember that very funny scene when you were examining your first patient.
And who are you?
We're the students, sister.
Oh, are you? Well, I do not like students. However, I'm forced to put up with you. But I warn you, I stand no nonsense in my ward. Is that clear?
As crystal, sister.
You will examine patients 5, 12, 18, and 20. You will replace the bedclothes neatly. You will not walk upon any part of the floor that has recently been polished. And you will not talk to the nurses on any except strictly professional matters. Is that understood?
Yes.
Very well. You may proceed.
Proceed? Proceed where? Choose a number and examine it, I suppose.
Hey, there's a new lot of students coming. We can have a bit of fun.
I don't feel like fun.
Oh, cheer up, Alfie. You're not dead yet.
You soon will be if you let those students get at you.
Do you think they'll know we've never examined a patient before?
Don't be silly. They think we're doctors.
I can hear the sea. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Would you mind if I examined you?
All yours, Doctor.
Oh, dear. Well.
He's 76. I just took it myself.
Oh. Thank you. Would you excuse me just a minute? You stuck too?
Yeah. What page is subacute appendicitis on?
I have no idea. I'm looking for the chest.
What are you doing with your bedclothes pushed back, Mr. Briggs?
I'm being examined, nurse.
Are you? By whom?
Good afternoon, nurse.
Good afternoon.
I'd just like to examine your chest.
It's my stomach that's wrong, Doctor.
Yes, of course it is. What are your symptoms?
Hydronephrosis, nephrolithiasis, and attacks of renal colic.
Thank you very much.
He has hammer toes, too.